You're listening to Thunder and Lightning on SuperTalk Mississippi, covering Mississippi State sports like nobody else. With Sports Talk Mississippi's Brian Hadad and Robbie Faulk of On3 Sports. Now get ready for Thunder and Lightning.
This is Thunder and Lightning here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Brian Hadad and Robbie Faulk here with you on a Monday morning. Thanks for joining us here at supertalk.fm or wherever it is that you get podcasts from. We appreciate you guys out there, our great listeners, especially our servicemen and women out there taking care of us. We want to thank our sponsors over at the Mississippi Beef Council, who want to remind you that beef, it is what's for dinner. If you're cooking out this weekend, any weekend, nothing beats the sizzle of beef on the grill. And if you're not cooking out, well, you know, as we've said so many times before, there are just so many great places here in the state of Mississippi where you can go out and get a great steak. And honestly, you know, we've been talking about it. It's an argument I had with the imbecile Brett Hudson a few years ago. You know, on Thanksgiving Day, yeah, have the turkey, but other meats are welcome. And if you want to cook a prime rib on our tenderloin on Thanksgiving Day, you feel free to do that. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't. Whatever the day of the week is, beef is always the best meal to have. Beef, it's what's for dinner. Thank you to our friends at the Mississippi Beef Council. College Corner, collegecornerstore.com is the place to find the maroon and white merchandise that you're looking for. Black Friday coming up, Cyber Monday coming up, great specials from College Corner. I'll be sure to let you know what those are. And whatever day it is you shop at College Corner, you know that you can find great Mississippi State gear for the person, for the Bulldog in your life. You know the Christmas holidays are coming up. You're going to put some stuff under the tree that says maroon and white. You want to do it at College Corner. 2 locations in the Jackson area, Ridgeland by Fleet Feet, Flowood by the Half Shell, or you can shop online, collegecornerstore.com. Restaurant Tyler, Starkville's flagship restaurant. Lunch, dinner, or Sunday brunch. The best meal in town is always at Restaurant Tyler. If you're going to grab a lunch in the city of Starkville, the best place to do it is Restaurant Tyler. They have the best blue plate in town. I'm Southern. I'm a Mississippi boy. I like to eat the blue plate for lunch. I get it at Restaurant Tyler. Brian's special, blackened catfish, cheese grits, mac and cheese. Let me get an extra fillet of that catfish on there. I like 2 fillets. It's a little more, but it's totally worth it. And I'll even eat that delicious sweet potato cornbread. That's a lunch for Brian Hadad. It could be your lunch, too. Just head over to Restaurant Tyler. Priority One Bank, 16 locations to serve you throughout central Mississippi. Let PriorityOneBank.com be your guide and show you not only where they're located, but show you how they're going to help you invest, how they're going to help you manage your money, how they're going to help you prepare for the future. Now more than ever, when you have questions about your money, you can't afford to wait around. You can't afford to be, getting the runaround and being on hold and all that kind of stuff. This is the holidays, man. I got questions. I got stuff to do. I need to know right away. That's why you want to deal with the level of service that you get at Priority One Bank. Let Priority One Bank make you their priority. I saw the thread on Six Pack, and I want to let you know that in spirit, I agree with you. We shouldn't talk about this football team. We really shouldn't, but we're going to. Plus, we're recording on a Sunday before Mississippi State soccer goes into the Sweet 16 against Notre Dame. So that'll be for tomorrow. So tomorrow's show will be a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about what Levy says at press conference, but we'll do a little heavier basketball and soccer recap on tomorrow's show. Mississippi State falls to Missouri, 39-20 is the final score. Robbie, you're muted.
I'm muted.
You're muted on here. Okay.
Have a little common sense, Brian. Have a little common sense.
I will not.
You see this microphone? It's not attached to this
I
computer.
appreciate you thinking that's a good idea, but it's not. All right?
For you to have common sense?
Correct.
Okay.
So you're going to sit there and let me make mistakes.
Okay.
And if you don't like it, the door's right there. I screwed up and I'm sorry.
Let me just sip my tea.
Yeah. So anyway, 39-20 was the final score. If Eli Drinkwitz had gotten his way, it might have been 46-20. He wanted to score that last touchdown when Mississippi State was talking smack down 3 touchdowns and on the goal line. They're taking a knee to try to save you some embarrassment, and you're going to talk smack to them? Drinkwitz, I know Drinkwitz gets a lot of stick because he's a bit of a dork. And
He's a dork.
but he likes to talk smack.
He's a dork with like a ton of confidence. It doesn't make any sense.
Hey man, more power to him. Shout out to all the dorks out there. I'm one of them. But if Brian Hadad's on that sideline, I'd have been like, punch it in. Punch it in. And we're going for 2 again.
I think it was still a little douchey for him to say what he did on the sidelines, though. I mean, it was over the top. I mean,
can't say anything.
State should have shut up, but those are
when I supported Rick Ray and what he said on the sideline that time. I won't have a double standard.
Yeah, but that was Marshall Henderson, wasn't it?
You're not wrong. I'm just saying though. The game looked exactly like I thought it would. Let's find out what Robbie thought, because we'll go right now and we'll ask him. You know, you always get to do the different voice. Let me tell him, Faulk.
I
can't wait.
They're not even getting a well.
I can't wait for it to get that back. We're gonna have to do a basketball.
We might have to do one basketball.
Do a basketball. Tell him, Faulk.
We might have to do one basketball just to get it out of my system.
Just to cleanse the palate.
I'm telling you, man. Like I've never been more ready for a season to end than this one. Never. Not baseball a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Not basketball with Rick Ray. Never had a season I've been ready to end like this one. I mean, and it comes after a year where I was very much ready for the season to end about midway through too. I mean, this is just I really don't know where this is headed. I have no clue. I asked Jeff Lebby yesterday, you know, what do you have to do to fix this defense in the offseason? And then a follow-up to that, do you feel like this staff is capable of doing it, the one that they have in place? And, you know, he has a lot of confidence in that. I do not. I don't think that this is going to be fixed by this staff. I really don't. When I look at what they got, you know, what they're offering right now, they're offering a bevy of JUCO guys. You know, we talked about this last week, and I didn't have a problem with, you know, a handful of guys getting offered, because you do need to fill those spots. And I don't think high school guys are going to help you next year. Mm-hmm. So getting guys that have college experience, and then you go to the transfer portal. We're seeing a new JUCO offer every day. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a possibility they add double-digit JUCO players. That's scary to me.
In the year 2024.
Yeah, it's scary to me, because I don't think that the talent level is as high as it used to be in junior college. So relying on that, it can be scary. I mean, what JUCO guys do you see truly impacting the game for Mississippi State this year? You know, they picked up Ashawn Shepard and Brian Lanier last year, and Brandon Jennings, and you hardly notice those guys unless there's a bad play happening. So it is a scary deal. But you know, just touching on the game a little bit, it was the same game that we've watched, I feel like, all season long for Mississippi State. They dig themselves in a hole in the first half. They're down by, you know, almost 3 scores, and in the second half they play a little better, and they give you a little bit of hope, you know, early fourth quarter, and then it just dashes away. And it'd be different if they were just getting beat by, you know, teams that were significantly better, more talented, things like that. They're doing dumb things. They're not executing. They had 3 possessions yesterday that they should have scored on, and they ended up getting 6 points out of 3 possessions.
Yeah,
that was killer. You know, you got the fumble. Michael Van Buren fumbles the football when State had all the momentum. Missouri was in a tailspin early. You should have been up in that ball game by 2 touchdowns, and instead, you go from 3-0 to down 7-3, and you never recovered from that. So, this team just doesn't know how to win. I don't think that this coaching staff knows how to win yet. And this is what happens when you hire a first-time head coach and a first-time defensive coordinator. There is hardly anybody in a position of power, including, you know, you have first-time athletic director too. Mississippi State has a lot of people learning on the job right now. And I think that's what you're seeing. I think you're seeing people that they're trying to scramble and figure things out. They don't really know the fix. They don't really know what to do. But whatever it is isn't working right now. And as we sit here on November 24th as we're recording this, and we're getting into a week where Mississippi State has the possibility to get bludgeoned against Ole Miss on Friday, I don't know what the future holds for this team, for this program, for Jeff Lebby, for Zach Selman, for all of them. I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. But right now, this football program is a mess. It's a mess, top to bottom. Game day atmosphere, game day experience. What they're doing. Behind the scenes, like the football, everything else seems to be in good shape at this school, but football. And unfortunately, this is the sport that brings in the most money. This is the one that powers your university. The university's taking money from this athletic department based on what they're doing in football. This football program is the lifeblood of this school, and they have to figure it out. And I have no idea what's going to happen. I really don't. And this was just another game in the long line of, helpless, hopeless Saturdays that we've experienced since the 1st of September. And thank God there is a week to go, and this misery is about to come to an end.
Week too.
Unfortunately, it's going to be the worst of it all is about to happen. You're about to.
I disagree with that.
Oh, you think it's going to get? You think there's been worse than what's about to happen on Friday?
I'll explain.
You're not going to be invested.
I'm going to explain why.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Nailed it. Everything you said is accurate and correct.
Can we do 10 things that are true for basketball and soccer?
Not today.
Okay.
We gotta let that soccer game happen. It hasn't happened yet as we're recording.
I'm covering the soccer game today. This is the second.
You're gonna be texting me, being like
no, I'm sitting by.
How do I put this?
No. I'm sitting by Colin Dams, who knows
there
more.
You go.
He knows more than
he
you
knows more than
on
me.
soccer.
Yes, he
Colin
does.
is a connoisseur. So
he runs a blog for SB Nation about soccer.
His dad is British.
Yeah, he's big. He's a big Manchester United.
If you don't follow Colin, you should. He knows
very
his
good
stuff. Very good guy too. Yeah. And I will be embarking over there to the soccer stadium and asking him for advice on what I need, how I need to word things.
I want you to ask him a question for me though. Just ask him how did it feel to get that point at Ipswich today? That's a good point for your plucky young team.
I don't know what any of that
doesn't matter.
Means.
He'll just say it's from me and he'll get it.
I've been putting off covering the soccer team, and it's not because
Next week I'll have you watching the games with me.
It's not because I don't want to support. I've been supporting this team or whatever, but I just don't know anything about soccer.
Well,
I'm not going to pretend.
You backed yourself into a bit of a corner with your constant bombardment of me. I want to get my house next Sunday. 7:30 a.m. What time is church?
11.
Oh, you got plenty of time. 7:30 a.m. Chelsea at Aston Villa. You want to be there?
No, I don't want to be there.
So Thanksgiving Day, I'll be watching. I'll have to put it on the TV, but with Chelsea Heidenheim, not Heidenreich, Heidenheim, in the Europa Conference League.
All these names
while I'm getting the dinner, while I'm getting lunch ready.
All these names sound fake.
They're not though. Aston Villa sounds like it'd be a Cadillac. Like if I told you I bought a new car for my wife, a Cadillac Aston Villa.
Or a condo.
Yeah. We're like, where are you staying this week on 30A? We're at Aston Villa. Ooh, that is nice.
That's the high society.
Yeah, I agree. Next Sunday is the big one. Sorry, 2 Sundays from now. Yeah, December 8th. Tottenham Hotspur.
I'll be on the road coming back from Hattiesburg. Sorry.
Oh, it's a shame. Was it 10:30? Can you make it back?
No, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it.
Well, we'll figure it out.
Dang it.
All right, let's move into the rest of the show. That's brought to you by our friends over at Pitt Printing and Signs. Reliable service for every business need. It's a great slogan. It helps get the message of their business out, doesn't it? It tells you kind of what to expect from them. But if Pitt Printing and Signs was going to do printing for Pitt Printing and Signs, they would catch your eye in a different way. And that's what they're about. 30 years of experience helping businesses just like yours put their message out there and bring customers in and keep them coming in for years and years to come. You need to call Cam Baker today and tell him, hey, heard about you on Thunder and Lightning. This is what my business is. This is the message I want to get out. How can you help me do that? He will construct a plan for you, and he will put together a marketing system for you that you will not believe. They've been doing it for 30 years, guys, so you know what that.
30?
It doesn't have the same bite to it, but either way, call them today at 601-499-5216. When you need printing, call Pip Pip today. Two Brothers Smoked Meats in the heart of the Cotton District is the place to find the smoked Southern soul food that you are looking for, and you certainly are going to be looking for it. If you're going to be around Starkville anytime soon, basketball season is here. Next Wednesday is the next home game. If you're going to be here, that's an 8:15 tip. What does that mean? It means you can get the Two Brothers and grab dinner and then head over to the hump, and it's going to be fantastic. That sounds like a really good day, so maybe you should do it. Maybe you should do it. Two Brothers Smoked Meats, and of course, the older brother, Starkville's best new restaurant, the home of the fancy sandwich. And I feel like I'm underrated them the past few weeks, but the best French fries in the city of Starkville. If you want great French fries, you love French fries. French fries.
Love fried fries.
I love fried potatoes.
Fried French. Fried French food. No.
French fries. We'll go with French fries.
Remember when we used to call them freedom fries?
Yeah, that lasted for like a month.
You're like, I remember going to school and they're like, no, we're calling these freedom fries.
Yeah.
Like, no.
No, nothing like that ever lasts. The older brother's going to last, though. It's a great restaurant. Go eat there as well. Great products, great service. Every business likes to promise it to you. They deliver it to you at Advantage Business Systems. They've been doing it now for 50 years. 50. When you need technology for your business, call Advantage Business Systems. If you need a new copier, a new printer, new laptops, all of that is available at Advantage Business Systems. Great name brands, great prices. But the service after the sale is what they're known for, and that's what's kept them open for 50 years, is knowing that when you have a problem with something that Advantage Business Systems sold you, they can take care of it for you, a lot of times the same day. Why? Because they're in Mississippi just like you. 601-362-9192, or you can visit them online, absms.com. Find out how Advantage Business Systems will help your business do business. Before you go to the games, you need to be headed over to Maroon & Co. to grab yourself some new gear. Simple as that. If you're in Starkville and you need Mississippi State gear, Maroon & Co. is the place to get it. They have the biggest and best selection. They got stuff nobody else has. They are the exclusive provider for the Bulldog Initiative. The coaches are the hoodies, the polos, the stuff the coaches wear. It's at Maroon & Co. Use our promo code Thunder15 to save 15% off regular price. Some exclusions do apply. Before you go to your next game in Starkville, make sure you head to Maroon & Co. Robbie, I have 8. I have 8 things that are true. The things that are true are brought to you by the good folks over at Bell Building Supply, your platinum Big Green Egg dealer here in the Golden Triangle. If you want to get the top-of-the-line grilling apparatus, go to Bell Building Supply and talk to Wes, and they will take care of everything for you. If you're cooking out on anything other than a Big Green Egg, you're missing out. Yeah, you don't. You put your little pellet grill out there, and you set it and forget it. I get it. I understand. But if you still want to cook over live fire, like some of us do, but you want that convenience and that ease, that's what the Big Green Egg gives you. Once it's locked in, and the meat is just cooking, and it can cook. You can go low and slow. You can do a pork butt, a brisket, whatever you want on there, but you can go hot and fast. You can put a steak. You can get that thing hot enough to cook a pizza in there. That's the awesome power of the Big Green Egg. Bell Building Supply, Starkville's premier and platinum Big Green Egg dealer. I got 8 things that are true, Robbie. We're just going to dive right into them. I'm going to go through some. We're going to go through some names here, okay? A coach's year one is a great barometer. Jackie, Dan Mullen, much better year one from what they took over. Kroom, Moorhead, no. Leach is an outlier because he changes nobody's running that system, right? It's not like, Mullen from Moorhead, it was not this drastic change that necessitated being worse, right? Leach from Moorhead, you were going to have some growing pain. And you can go all around. Kiffin was much better at Ole Miss year one than they were the last year of Luke. Freeze was much better at Ole Miss year one than they were the last year of Houston Nutt. Houston Nutt was much better at year one than the last year of Ed Orgeron, so on and so forth. And so I say all that to say a 2-10 first season is not a great start. I guess I'm not telling you anything you didn't know, but that's not going to inspire any confidence that long term it's going to be better.
And it's not even just the 2-10 record. To me, it's I think people can kind of get over the fact that they're 2-10. If it looked promising, if you could really sell, well, the defense is going to be better. You got these guys coming in on the defensive side that's going to be able to help. These guys are coming in on offense. You got a young core offensively. I don't have a whole lot of, confidence right now. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the recruiting class is going to look like. I don't know what the transfer portal class is going to look like. On the flip side, things could change really quickly for Mississippi State, and Lebby can be Kenny Dillingham.
Mm-hmm.
That's the alternative is
Jed Fish.
Is Lebby could turn this thing around quickly, and those two guys didn't have top 5 transfer portal classes. They just got guys in that fit their system, and they believed and it worked. So, I mean that's kind of the thing to me though is like the thought process is right now, and we'll see if it comes to fruition that Coleman Hutzler is going to keep his job, which I don't remember a guy at Mississippi State on either side of the ball that had a unit that was last in the country in several categories that was able to stay on and coach again the next year. That would be a little
weird.
Yeah, I mean it's not really what Mississippi State's done in the past. It's not really what a lot of people do in the past. We've seen people get fired mid-season for having much better defenses than what Mississippi State's put on the field. So that would be, to me, a red flag. It would be Jeff Lebby just basically saying it's the talent, not what we've seen. And we've seen that there's been issues with the scheme, with what they're doing defensively, and the fundamental part of it. They're not tackling well. They're misaligned. They don't really know what's going on. They're not super disciplined. That stuff is coaching. That stuff falls on Coleman Hutzler, and he's a guy that's learning on the fly. He's never coached a defense like this. So it's alarming that you should sound an alarm if Jeff Lebby says everything's fine, we just need better players, and the players they're going to get are junior college guys.
Yeah.
Unless they go out and they go kill it in the transfer portal and we see NFL caliber players replace the ones that we've seen on the defensive line, then it's going to get rough again next year, and the schedule is even more brutal next season.
Yeah. Number 2, Mississippi State, 1st and 10 at the Missouri 32 in the first quarter, leading 3-0 following back-to-back 3-and-outs for Missouri, was the high point of the season. That was the best moment of the season thus far. That moment. Do you know the Louis C.K. joke about vacation?
I don't know.
He talks about, he's like, it's so stressful getting prepared to go on vacation, right? And you load up the car and you get the kids into the car seats and you close the door. You get your wife in the car and you close the door. And then you have that like 5 seconds where you walk around the front of the car to the driver's seat. It's like, that's my vacation. That 5 seconds where nobody's talking to me and I'm just heading over the car. That's my vacation. That was what this
get in the
season
car.
is.
All right, everybody, let's go.
Yeah, vacation's over at that point. Yeah, that's what
what
this
happened.
is, though. There was a 5-second moment there where State was leading with the ball on the Missouri 32. They had all the momentum. Ole Miss had just lost that game. The game had just ended, and there was that moment of like, this is going to be okay. Today is going to be okay. And then it was over. It was over just like that. They fumble, they take it all the way back, and that was the end of the game.
You had a chance. That fumble changed the whole game.
In the whole game.
If you score right there, I don't think mentally Missouri
was wobbly. They were wobbly.
And State's defense was flying around. We didn't see it the rest of the game.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
Those first 2 possessions, they were flying around. I turned to you when Isaac Smith came in on that blitz on the goal line, and they almost got a safety. They almost got a touchdown, a fumble. Like we saw Hunter Washington flying around, so Isaac Smith. I was like, why couldn't they have done this most of the year?
Yeah,
because the rest of the time it looks like they're getting no pressure. They're hardly bringing it, and from right there, like it really felt like they were being a little chaotic, and they were being, what what we thought they could be coming in the season, and we never saw it again the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And the rest of the game, I mean, did you go back and look at like some of the fourth quarter and second half stats? They controlled the football almost the entire second half. State barely had the ball. And one of those drives was a 2-play drive for State. I mean, Missouri did nothing, out of the ordinary. They didn't try to confuse State or misdirection or trick plays. They just ran the football, and State could not stop it. It was 4 yards a rush.
State, I think the stat that's going around, State had 11 plays in the second half.
Yeah.
Missouri's first drive of the second half had 13 plays.
Yeah. And they ran
runs.
at every play except for one, and it was that pathetic looking the touchdown that was just absolute disaster. They called a penalty on that.
Yeah.
And it was like way away from the play, had nothing to do with it. The way the play developed.
It was unbelievable.
Oh,
Missed tackles,
dude,
the people out of position is just disgusting.
It's just, State, the product State's putting on the field right now is just sad.
That being said, we'll do number 3 here. If you're in it's the talent crowd on defense. You had some ammo yesterday.
Yes.
The 2 plays that got me, both in the first half. I think both in the first half. Maybe the second half. I don't know. The one is, and you pointed this out while we were up there, they ran a sweep, and State has like 4 or 5 guys out there, and he just keeps running and gets around them. It should have been a loss of about 5 or 6. It was a gain of 5.
Yep.
That's
Luther Burden.
Yeah, you're just like, what is going on there? And then the missed sack. I mean, Hutzler calls the exact correct blitz in the exact moment that it should happen. His guy comes free. He's going to wallop Brady Cook, and Brandon Jennings just misses the tackle.
He stepped out of it. I think that was the touchdown. Didn't he throw that touchdown to Burden on that?
No, it wasn't the touchdown, but they
scrambled.
They got it was a scramble. Yeah, it was a long first down. So
I've never seen anything like it. I really haven't, and I absolutely believe I've been on record saying this since probably middle of the season. I think talent is 100% the biggest issue for Mississippi State. They do not have the talent up front. And I actually think the linebackers have played okay this year. Stone Blanton's been really solid. I think Brandon Jennings has been okay. I think Nick Mitchell's had his moments. Unbelievable that John Lewis is just completely.
He went to media days.
It's unreal. He's just completely fallen off the face of the earth.
A sign, we're talking about a minute ago about first year, and how the fact that the guy you brought to media days can't even get on the field anymore tells you like you were way off in what you thought that was guy.
I don't know what happened, but Zachary Tillman's showing promise.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Pollock's been really solid.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously Isaac Smith's been great. But the defensive line, to me, is the biggest issue for Mississippi State. They do not have an SEC defensive line.
Yeah.
In any form or fashion, this is one of the worst defensive lines Mississippi State has put on the field.
Ever.
As long as I can remember. I mean, since I was a kid, Mississippi State has had some dudes on the defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Even Sylvester Croom, some of those bad teams that he had, that was one of their most talented positions.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie had great linemen.
Mm-hmm.
Mullen had really good linemen. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't understand how they got to this position, but that's got to be fixed next season in the transfer portal. I don't know coming in, Xavier Hardy, he's got the talent. I mean, the numbers weren't great this year at EMCC, but I imagine he was probably picking up double teams, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to be great.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to be great for Mississippi State to take that jump.
Yeah.
Some of these guys have got the ones that they have here have got to make a jump. But that to me is the biggest. The talent issues up front is a problem.
It's rough. It's really bad. Number 4. You can see why it's important for State to get back Blake Shapen. I like Van Buren. He's talented. He's a true freshman. I feel like he's playing above his head at times. You've got to have a veteran guy there to at least try to win the job and see if he can.
And at least healthy. Challenge Van Buren
to get better,
to where he's going to get better.
Exactly.
I think he just hit a freshman wall.
I agree.
because you still see the talent with him.
Mhm.
Like it's evident. But yeah, you definitely need a veteran in there that's going to make this a real quarterback battle in the offseason. If they can convince Blake Shapen to stay, I get the arguments from people that he's not healthy and he's going to get hurt. I get that. But I would much rather take a chance on him competing for that job with Van Buren than having to go out there to the transfer portal and recruit somebody that's probably not going to be nearly as good as Blake Shapen. Because if Blake Shapen's playing, I think State has a chance in a couple more games. I don't think they would have started how they did. And like these games, they're digging themselves in holes. I think he would have come out and given them a better shot. Just because it's a fifth-year senior, whatever he is at this point, compared to a true freshman. You know, Blake Shapen, before he had been injured, I thought played really well for State. So to me, I think that would be best case scenario. State's able to keep Blake Shapen, and you have Blake Shapen and Michael Van Buren battling it out. And you know, who knows, Kamario Taylor? I think Kamario Taylor's capable of fighting for a spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't go into the offseason, Blake Shapen leaves, and you're searching for a guy because who wants to sign up from outside looking in? Whenever you see Michael Van Buren started most of the season as a true freshman, who wants to sign up for that?
Yeah.
As a transfer portal guy. So base case scenario to me is Shapen stays, and if he gets hurt, you got a returning sophomore who has already played in some tough environments in this league. There's worse people you could put on the field than Michael Van Buren.
Yeah, Van Buren's been fine as a true freshman. He's been absolutely fine. And if he had played the whole season and gotten to play in those non-conference games, his numbers would be really good.
Yeah,
but you got to have the veteran guy there. So we'll see how that goes. Number 5, the most disappointing thing about this season is how much parity there is everywhere else in college football. Every week we're seeing these upsets. You've got all this drama around the playoff, and all these teams are still in it, and who's in and who's out. And Vanderbilt can beat Alabama, and Kentucky can beat Ole Miss, and Florida can beat Ole Miss, and Arkansas can beat Tennessee. And then there's just Mississippi State, and there's just absolutely nothing going. It's almost like they took a high school team and just put them in the SEC. Like, there's just no chance.
it's depressing.
It is.
This
It is absolutely depressing.
I can't remember a time where there's been more parity in the SEC where literally a team that's towards the bottom of the league can beat one of the most talented teams in the league. That's happened.
The bottom four of the conference are Auburn, Arkansas, Kentucky, and Mississippi State. Well, Auburn just beat Texas A&M. Oklahoma. Did I say Oklahoma? I said Arkansas. Arkansas beat Tennessee. Kentucky beat Ole Miss. Mississippi State has beaten nobody.
Vandy
beats Alabama.
I think they're a good team.
Oklahoma beats
but
Alabama.
still, they've all gotten to rush the field.
Yeah,
you know,
even against Georgia, Kentucky lost by 1. You know, I mean, it's just
it's really depressing. This is the time where State could get some upsets and they could win a couple of games that normally they wouldn't win. And then their best teams, you know, are playing in an era where the SEC West is as loaded as ever.
Yeah.
You know, those Mullen teams are the most talented teams they've ever had, and they had no chance against Alabama and most of the time LSU and Georgia. And now you get these teams, this era of football where everything is chaotic and it's so watered down. State has no chance.
Yeah.
They're losing these games by 3 touchdowns against teams that Missouri is a middle of the pack SEC team right now.
Yeah.
And this is a good era for them. You know, last year was above and beyond. They went 10-2, whatever, 11-2. This year they're outside the top 25. And you got Eli Drinkwitz on the sideline taunting players, telling them he's going to run the score up.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing. But that's where Mississippi State is right now. They are the laughing stock of the SEC.
Yeah.
They're in this position because of bad decisions and a little bad luck, for sure. Bad evaluations, bad recruiting, bad development. This staff's really struggling to figure out what they're supposed to do. It's just it's all culminated to a disaster for Mississippi State, and somebody's got to stop the bleeding at some point.
Let's see here. Number 6. I was going to have a conversation with somebody the other day. We're talking about Hutzler. Now, I came up with this. I want you to, tell me what you think. in 2021, Mississippi State's pitching staff was one of the best in the country, right? Absolutely a huge part of the reason that Mississippi State wins the national title. And Scott Foxhall was a national assistant coach of the year. But when his unit starts putting up historically bad numbers, there wasn't any hesitation. He had to go. And they fired him midseason.
And there's nobody that wanted to do that less than Chris Lemonis.
And Chris Lemonis did not want to do it.
He did not want to do that.
But he knew at that moment, he's like, it's him or me.
Yeah, because the first year was like, what's the problem? And then year 2, it was, there's the rat.
But that's the thing.
I smell something. It's that.
And that's the thing. Like, Foxhall had the credit in the bank to survive a bad year. We were coming off a national title. His pitchers had been dominant, and they had all those injuries. Sims goes down, and like, okay, we'll give him another year. But in the next year, when they were the worst pitching staff in the SEC by the largest margin, right? The same way Mississippi State defensively is by the worst, by the largest margin, you had to make the move. And Hutzler doesn't have any credit in the bank here. All right, he came in year 1. They're this bad right away. He's got to go.
Well, last year they did that with Zach Arnett.
Yeah.
I mean, they realized this.
He had
there's
more
no
credit
way
in the bank than Coleman Hutzler.
I've got to know. I mean, there's no other way for us to ask a question to Jeff Lebby that's going to get the answer that we want.
Yeah.
But I've got to know if he does do this. And listen, I want to preface this by saying we don't know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
We have ideas. We've talked to people, even people inside the department that I've talked to, and people even inside the football program have said, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. We think he might stay. We have no clue. I don't know if Jeff Lebby's made that decision yet.
Right.
If he does make the decision, I need an honest answer why.
Mm-hmm. Because
there is nothing that I've seen to this point. I can't look out there and just say, like, Ole Miss, DJ Durkin's first year, which I think was Kiffin's first year in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
They were in position all the time. The defense was in position, and you were just like, they just can't make the plays.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember they would have people right in the face of the running back, and he would just sidestep them and run right past them. That was a talent deficiency issue. We could see that they just didn't have talent. And the next year, Durkin had them playing significantly better football.
Added a few players, and they were good.
And that was, the guy that a lot of people wanted to be on Mississippi State staff this year, but it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
This year, we're seeing misalignments. We're seeing players, look to the sidelines with their hands up. We don't know what's going on. Guys just don't really know what's going on out there. And it's just so much more than just a talent thing. It'd be different if they were we talked about a while ago, they were in position to make that play. I think it's more complicated than it's just a talent problem or it's just a Hutzler problem. But I'm continuing to hammer this point. If the answer is getting better players, how are you going to get better players without having anything to sell?
Mm-hmm.
If DJ Durkin was Mississippi State's defensive coordinator, he has defensive coordinator at Florida, defensive coordinator at Texas A&M, defensive coordinator at Ole Miss, defensive coordinator at where else was he?
He was at Michigan.
Michigan, head coach. He has something to sell. I put this guy in the NFL. I turned this defense from worst in the country to top 25. He has something to sell. That's my argument is I don't know if Coleman Hutzler is going to be able to fix this. So right or wrong, whether or not he is truly at fault, you have to look at this as Jeff Lebby, because if they have another 2-10 season next year,
it's over.
He will be fired.
Yeah,
you are not going to survive 2-win seasons in the SEC.
Correct.
And you're looking at 2, 3, 4 wins next year if the chalk holds and things stay like they are. With what the information that we have, the players that we think are coming back next year, the players that they are potentially adding, either in JUCO or high school, there's nothing in those classes or the guys coming back that suggest a differential in like 4 wins to get you to 6,
right?
Or even 3.
Right.
Like, I don't know how it's going to happen. So I would like to know if this is the route that Jeff Lebby goes, which is opposite of what literally everybody in the fan base believes, except for a fringe 1% out there that are they just go against everybody else, then I need to know why. I mean, what are you seeing? Because he sees things that we don't. Are you seeing a guy that like he's got the right game plan, he's doing the right things in practice, and they're just not executing? Because they watch the film, they see things a little bit closer than us. We're a lot more. We're not really surface level. We're a lot higher up. But
Right.
I want to know why. I want to know why that is the decision if that happens, and I don't know if we'll ever get that.
No, we won't. Number 7, staying with Hutzler. The reason he gets fired is it might not even be what's happened on the field to this point. It's going to be because people are going to say, I'm not going to give.
Yep.
And that's happening already.
Already happening.
You're having people who are getting phone calls, hey, we want to switch. I got a phone call the other day. My wife she was a Bulldog Initiative member. Now she's a state excellence member. They're making those calls now, and people are getting calls and saying, hey, I'm not going to give. I'm going to hold off until I see what happens with Coleman Hutzler. But that's happening.
The vast majority of the people that I've seen on the message boards have said, I will support Jeff Lebby if he makes this move.
Right.
They're not even really mad at Jeff Lebby.
Right. They're willing to move forward with Jeff Lebby, but if he keeps Coleman Hutzler, and look, it's not your big people stick around because that's what they do. And it won't be a huge number, but it'll be a number. It will be a number. There will be people who say, I'm not buying tickets, I'm not coming to games, I'm not going to donate until he's gone.
Well, here's two things. They're giving money to a program that it looks like dead right now. They're 2-10. Recruiting class is probably going to be in the 30s or something.
Oh, we just got a Paul Jones.
We have a commitment coming.
No, we got the Spanky.
Yeah,
So
JUCO commitment coming.
Yeah,
and some of these JUCO guys I'm excited about. I think can help Mississippi State.
some.
So you're giving money to this; it's going to waste. You're not getting. I mean, some of these defensive players are making a lot of money, and like how to be the worst. And then Coleman Hutzler's making $1 million.
Yeah.
Plus, the money that he's going to make if he does get fired. I don't know how this contract happened. For a first-time defensive coordinator to get $1 million that's wild, and in multi-years. So people they don't feel like their money's being put to good use, and I wouldn't either. If I'm giving, some of these people giving, thousands of dollars a year to see the product that they're getting right now, and the coach and the administration's like, just keep giving us the money. We're not going to do anything to change this. That's going to tick a lot of people off, and it's something has got to change. They've got to listen to their customers more. These are the people that are funding the whole thing, and the new IPF coming.
Yeah,
that's going to be funded in large part with donors.
Yeah.
So I mean, at this point, the fans are funding more than anything. They deserve a say so in what's going on.
What's the old saying? Like, if you listen to the fans, you get to sit with the fans. That's not true anymore, to a certain extent, right? Because you're asking the fans to do everything everything your football. Yes,
you say? Okay.
I saw it. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Too.
Darkness has fallen on Robbie Faulk. Good.
It's like it's Paul Bearer here. Oh, Robbie Faulk, my Undertaker will destroy you.
Oh man,
right. Last one.
But not like you're right though. Like we can no longer just say, "Why don't you get out here and coach?" If it no,
look, I understand.
Like you don't know what you're talking about.
The fans shouldn't be the ones up there saying you should run the ball, you should pass the ball,
right?
I get that, but you should fire this guy if you want my money. I can say that.
I mean, I just think we've seen enough. Yeah. Like what? Like it's not like there's like you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. It's not that. We've seen enough. We kind of know what's going on at this point. We know that they're confused on defense. We know they're putting a very bad product on the field.
Yeah. Last one. There is nothing that can happen on Friday that's going to elicit any kind of emotional response from me unless it's positive.
So, what's your prediction on Choctaw County and East Webster?
What a game! I can't wait to. I wish I could go to that.
I'll be there.
I know. Lucky you. Choctaw probably wins. I mean, it's just at the end of the day, the best player might just dominate that game. But that being said, with
East Webster, they play hard, man.
They do. with Ole Miss in the Egg Bowl, I go into that game and like if State loses 70-0, it literally does not affect me. Like I'm just like I'm walking into Vaught Hemingway that day expecting it.
Say that.
So if State wins, I'm gonna be thrilled, happy, and the show that we have on Monday of next week will be an all timer. But Ole Miss can't hurt me.
Say that.
They can't hurt me.
Jeff Lebby has decided right now that Coleman Hutzler returns.
Okay.
What is the result that it's going to take for his hand to be forced on Friday?
It'd be something similar to what happened with. I think I've always thought that going into the Egg Bowl in 2008, I think Kroom was not going to get fired, and it was so bad that Byrne was like, I don't really have any choice here.
And that was 45 to
45.
nothing?
The issue was, I mean, what was it? They had like 13 sacks or something.
Yeah.
And State rushed for negative 50 yards. I mean, it was the score was not indicative of how bad a blowout it was, and it was 45-0. And one thing I've always said, and I absolutely believe this: if we could go back in time and Houston Nutt could have found a way to win that game 17-10, he would have done it.
Just sandbag a little bit.
Sandbag and let State hang around. If they lose like 50-0, I mean, if there's one thing we know about Mark Keenum is that he values the Egg Bowl. And losing it like that will send the pressure down the pipe. So we'll see. But nothing. I'm not worried about it. The only emotions I can feel on Friday are good ones.
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk in dead, and if I get Lazarus, that's fine.
What's the closest comparison to this in the Egg Bowl over the years? Like what do you? Because like
there's not a good one.
17.
We were a 17-point favorite.
Yeah, the State was Ole Miss was kind of dead at that
Ole Miss
point.
went 5 when they went 6-6 that year. They were a decent team. They had good players. They had AJ and DK Metcalf.
They had just checked out.
Mullen had checked out, and it trickled down. And when Fitzgerald if Fitzgerald doesn't get hurt, not
17. I was thinking 18.
Ole Miss,
yeah,
that was similar to this, but even then, that Ole Miss team had a ton of talent.
Yeah,
and to Moorhead did not.
I mean, it never felt like they were in that game.
He could have run it up on them, and he didn't. And he probably regretted it as soon as Michael Thompson mouthed off to him. But it is what it is.
It's crazy. That guy's working at the SEC network now.
Yeah,
it's insane.
I don't have any. Ole Miss going up and down the field. I'm just gonna be sitting there doing my job.
08 is probably the comparison.
But even that
I would
game,
think.
I've brought that up.
I didn't think State was going to get beat that bad.
I thought State had a shot if they could get up early in that game to maybe win. Ole Miss that year was not great.
Mm-mm.
They lost to Vanderbilt. They lost to somebody else that wasn't that good. They weren't that great, and they could.
There's not many games in our lifetime that have just been like you're
this.
just so. I mean, 11 was bad.
Mm-hmm. 11 might be the actual answer.
11 might be, and State could have beat them way worse.
Yeah, if you ever ask Chad Bumpus about that game, he gets mad because he's like, "We could have won 70-0."
What was it, 31?
31-3, but it wasn't that close.
Bradley Soul going for Dwayne Charrington's ankles in the last play of the game.
Maybe that should have been the sign with Lebby. Like they hired that guy.
It was always kind of weird.
Yeah,
but
all right, all that that we've just said is very important stuff to us, at least. It may not be important to you, but it is important to us. There are other things, however, in this life that are, just as important.
Let's talk about something important. Put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only.
Coffee is for Closers is brought to you by our good friends over at Strange Brew Coffee House here in Starkville, or at Chick and Turn and Spoon Ice Cream. Start your day the right way with a trip to the drive-thru over at Strange Brew Coffee House here in Starkville, or at Brupolo over in Tupelo. It'd be a little weird, Robbie, if Brupolo was in Macondi.
That would be a little weird. It sounds like a good ingredient to go in your coffee, though.
Can I get a little extra Macondi in my coffee? We have a winner.
Yes.
Give a shout out to Chip Hoover of Vestavia Hills, Alabama. Honestly, if you put a video with your kids in there, imitating me and Robbie,
it's gonna tug on our heart.
It's gonna be tough not to beat it. So Chip, Strange Brew should be getting in touch with you as we speak, and they will be reaching out to you to get you your gift package sent off. Congrats, Chip. We'll pick winners over the next few weeks So you still have a chance to win. Please send in your tweets to us and let us know where you are and where you're listening to us across the state. Jeff Lebby, no coffee. At the end of the day, this is his job. This is everything that's happening on that field is a result of decisions he's made. I'm tired of picking on other people at this point. I've had enough with Hutzler. I can't deal with that anymore. He shouldn't have had any coffee all year. But Lebby's the top guy. No coffee for Jeff Lebby. Also, I didn't talk about it. The decision to not kick a field goal.
Oh, that was terrible.
It's 31-20. You have all the momentum. They've missed the field goal. You score. Now you're going to get a field goal here to no, is it you scored? They miss a field goal. You drive down. The drive stalls out. It's 4th and 3. Kick the field goal. Make it a one-score game. Keep the momentum. Instead, they go for it and they don't get it. That's a terrible decision. And then he tries to go with the whole Jackie, well, that's what the chart says. No, it's not. That is not what the chart says. It says make it a one-score game.
I think the chart does say make it a one-score game. I mean, there's
a game. You have the and you and I were talking the other day about momentum. About like how people don't
people act like it doesn't exist.
It exists, and you had it right there. And if you make it 31-23, everybody's gonna be like, man, if they can get a stop, they're gonna get this.
Every coach will tell you. I talked to Ty Harden from Tupelo the other day about this.
Yeah.
Momentum is absolutely
it's an absolute real thing.
He lost to Starkville 2 years ago because of momentum.
Yeah,
and that is if they kick a field goal right there, they have get a stop.
Yeah,
the whole game is different.
Yeah,
I mean you have to get the points right there. And there were so many times yesterday across college football where the coaches just would not take the points. Lane Kiffin didn't do it. He did it one time, and I think he decided from then on he's not going to do it. But Lane Kiffin didn't do it. LSU didn't do it a couple of times, I think. You got to get the points when you can, and especially in that situation where you can cut it to a one-score game. Yeah. I haven't had a whole lot of times this year where I've said that was a terrible decision by Jeff Lebby.
Mm-hmm.
I think for the most part, he's been pretty clean.
That was the one, though.
That was up there.
Yeah. That's fine. In the SEC. They're out now.
It'd be so much easier if State was good.
If State just won this game. They just won this game, I could laugh harder. Yeah. And look, I know a lot of people were like, man, there's so much chaos. They're out. They cannot be in.
They'll just slip in somebody else, a lesser
at this point, they are out. They are not getting in. They have 3 losses to Kentucky, LSU, and Florida. Those are all unranked teams. You cannot. They are out.
If a 3-loss team gets in, it's going to be Georgia losing in the SEC championship and getting in.
Exactly. So they've got a they have a 4th loss coming. I'm not saying it's Friday, but their bowl game will be opt-out city.
Oh yeah, it'll be all.
Give me their starting lineup and a Sharpie, and I'll just tell you who's not. Dart might play. It's because he's a gamer. I'll give him credit. He played really bad. The interceptions he threw yesterday were awful.
I don't know what was going on.
But he's a gamer. He's tough. He'll play, I think. But the rest of them, sayonara.
I'm going to tell you what their biggest issue is. They haven't been able to run the football like they want to.
And they have a great running back. There's some sort of personal issue, and Kiffin will not address it, and it's pissed people off.
Yeah, and they keep blaming the running backs coach. Like Kiffin doesn't have the ability to veto that as the head coach.
It's crazy how much I quote Joe Moorhead when he wasn't a great coach here, but Kiffin has 51% of the vote.
Yes.
Whatever he wants to have. This is one thing coaches do that drives me crazy. They'll say, well, blah, blah, blah. You are the head coach. Anything you want. If you say, hey, on this play, I want you to take your pants off and moon the crowd, or you're going to get benched, you have that power. It's just dumb.
And the people, like, it's so crazy to see Ole Miss fans flip back and forth. Jackson Dart's trash, fire Kiffin. Yeah. You are not in this position without Lane Kiffin. It's a blessing and a curse, and you knew that coming in. You knew he was going to be volatile on certain points. He was a guy that rubs people the wrong way. He'll get on Twitter and make funny comments. He's a quirky guy. Mm-hmm. You knew this was coming, so you have to live with this stuff when it comes.
I have a great idea for tomorrow's show. You just have not this show, Sports Talk. You'll just have to wait and see.
Okay.
So,
and then
you'll see it before anybody else does.
You would have been better off just paying Quinshon Judkins what he wanted. Quinshon Judkins.
And I said that the day it happened.
And people were like, "No, Bentley's better than he is." Okay,
He'll get to play.
if Quinshon Judkins was playing right now, you're undefeated.
I don't know if you're undefeated.
Who are they losing to?
You might be right. Yeah,
I mean, like, you insert him into the lineup, who are you losing to?
You're probably right.
Because they've played Henry Parrish, who's been banged up.
Yeah.
A walk-on.
Yeah.
From Jackson Prep.
They played a converted wide receiver.
Wide receiver. They're not playing Ulysses Bentley, so you would have been better off paying.
Yeah.
Just spend the whatever money they spent.
All the money they spent, and they weren't. They when it came time to just give maybe an extra $100,000, that's when they got cheap.
Well, like their defense wasn't great yesterday, and that's been a unit that's been good.
They scored 24 points. That's okay. That's okay. That's good enough.
Yeah, but they ran the football as well as anybody has all year.
Florida has played better since Lagway has taken over. There's no getting around that. Nationally, I thought about Indiana, but like they have one loss. They're going to get into the playoff.
Yeah,
they're fine.
We can stop that conversation with them.
Yeah, they're in.
They're in. You cannot.
They ain't got to beat Purdue, but they will beat
They'll
Purdue.
beat them, and then it'll be them and Ohio State in the championship game.
No, Oregon.
That's right. I totally forgot about Oregon.
Oregon. So there are two teams that are
Ohio State, Oregon. That's gonna be great.
There are two teams that are in the college football playoff, 100% locked in. Oh, sorry, there's three. There's three. 100% locked in. Okay, Oregon, because Oregon is already in the Big Ten championship game. Georgia is now in the college football playoff because even if they lose in the SEC championship game, they're going to get in.
Well, if Georgia Tech beats them,
okay, Georgia Tech, yeah, okay. So I'll take it back then. Georgia's not in.
Mm-mm.
Georgia's not in.
I think Texas is in.
Texas is in.
Yep.
Because even if they lose to Texas A&M at 10-2, they're going to get in.
Yep.
They'll be like an 11 seed, but they'll get in.
Yes.
Texas is in. So those are your two they're in. So nationally,
and then who like? I'm just trying to piece together who else.
Second team in.
SMU's in.
SMU and
SMU's going to get in. Miami's going to get in.
They'll both get in.
Big 12's going to get
their champion.
One. Group of 5, one team.
Boise will get in.
So who are they going to put in? Clemson.
Well, Georgia will get in.
Can Clemson get in?
Clemson can get in if they beat South Carolina.
So 3. They can get 3.
You want to know a little dirty secret? South Carolina could get in if they beat Clemson. They're going to be 9-3. Now I know they lost to Ole Miss. So Ole Miss fans are going to be like, doesn't matter. It matters how you're playing here at the end. You know that. They could sneak in. Clemson could get a third ACC team if they beat South Carolina convincingly. If they're sitting there at 10-2 and they beat South Carolina convincingly, they could get in.
I just don't know what's going to happen, man.
That's the best part, though. That's the best part.
Okay, so
you got 4 Big Ten teams.
So here's my thing with the playoff. People are like, we don't need 12 teams in there. I want more football.
Yeah,
I want less bowls and more important games. I don't care. I don't think that all 12 teams are going to win the national championship.
You know what's funny is last week I would have said, man, they really need to expand to 16 because it looks like a lot of good teams are getting left out. And now I'm like, no, 12's good. 12 is perfect.
And I don't even think they need to go away from 12.
Yeah.
I think.
So let me get my national one out here. It's Colorado. They've had a tremendous season. They've been way better than I thought they were going to be. Travis Hunter should win the Heisman Trophy. He's the best player in college football. But they had a golden opportunity to lock it up and get into the playoff, and now I don't even know that they're going to make the Big 12 championship.
They blew it.
They blew it yesterday against Kansas. Kansas is a weird team. They've ruined 2 seasons in a row now, and they if you go back and look at them, they were like 5 plays away from being undefeated at this point.
Yeah.
Crazy. Colorado gets no – Dion, you know where to find me. No coffee for you. I got the time today, but no time for coffee.
Yep.
All right. It's Egg Bowl week. Plenty to talk about. Oh, one more thing that is true here. So it'd be number 9. Hold on. I'm gonna give you the exact number. I'm not gonna tell you anybody's names, but I'm gonna tell you how many I talked to or I texted. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where is he? Yeah, 4. I texted 5 former Bulldogs to try to get interviews this week to talk about Egg Bowls. Only one reached out to me. Only one got back with me. So they don't want to talk either, I guess. But Nick Fitzgerald will be with us tomorrow. So we'll talk to Nick and get his thoughts, get some great Egg Bowl memories going with Nick on tomorrow's show. Tomorrow's show also will definitely recap Mississippi State's win over SMU in men's basketball, and we'll talk about Robbie heading over to soccer. We'll see if the Dogs can advance into the Elite 8 for the second season in a row, I believe. They didn't go to the Elite 8 last year.
Didn't
they lose in the Elite 8?
I thought they just went to the Sweet 16.
I think
Could be wrong.
I think they went to the Elite Eight. I'm pretty sure. We'll do all that on tomorrow's show. Plus SEC picks. I'm down 2. I got to make some picks. War Eagle? I don't know. We'll see.
Is it at Auburn?
It's at Alabama. If it was at Auburn, they would win. I really do think they would. We'll see that. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Guys, have a great Monday. Back with you on Tuesday. For Robbie Faulk, I'm Brian Hadad. Thanks for listening to Thunder and Lightning here on Super Talk Mississippi.